Hey, before the video starts, I just want to let you know that the bottom corner of your YouTube browser thing has the ability to slow down a video. You're gonna want to slow this video down to 0.5 in order to fully understand the rest of the video, but I'll give you a little time to do that. So if you could just do that while I'm talking, and before I finish counting down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello Internet, I am the Hero Julius once again with another Dungeons & Dragons video. If you did slow down the video, I should be talking at a normal speed to you right now, but due to an unfortunate mistake with the haste spell, this video is going a little faster than it normally should. On that note though, I figured this would be an opportunity to talk about how to make your character move incredibly fast, and with the right spell combinations, abilities, boons, magic items, what have you, it is possible to get your character up to an entire mile worth of distance in a single round of combat. Of course, your DM has to be generous enough to let a couple wordings look a different way, but without further ado, let's get into the most basic way to get yourself to a hyperspeed. Obviously, to reach the highest level of speed, we're going to need the highest level possible, thus creating a level 20 character. We'll be taking 15 levels in Monk, 3 levels in Barbarian, and 2 levels in Fighter. It can be almost any subcategory you want of Monk, because we're only going to take a couple abilities from Monk to make this actually happen. The reason we're picking 3 levels in Barbarian is because we are going to become a Totem Barbarian, but not just any totem, the Elk Totem found in the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide. The Elk Totem just innately increases our movement speed by 15 feet. Now, we could go all the way to level 20 as a Monk and have a plus 25 to movement, however, a level 15 Monk has a plus 20 to movement, thus this will give us an extra 10 feet. So it's easier to go into the 3 levels of Barbarian than it would be to max out our Monk unarmored movement. The reason we're taking 2 levels in Fighter is just so that we have access to Action Surge. More on that later. Along the way, as a leveling up Monk, we should have taken at least 1 feat, the Mobile feat, which will give us an extra 10 feet of movement. Increase that a little bit further by having a wizard friend of ours give us a transmutation stone that will increase our movement speed by an additional 10 feet. That same wizard should be able to cast Longstrider, giving us another 10 feet to our movement speed. The best part about Longstrider is it does not require concentration. Now granted, if you had a large enough party of wizards, you could keep adding 10s to this with Longstrider, depending on whether or not your DM allows such effects to stack. Personally, I wouldn't, so I would be treating it as if I am the DM of this campaign. The final flat plus that we'll be adding to this is the Boon of Speed, which is a high-level boon that you can obtain after becoming level 20. Depending on your DM, you could even obtain it earlier, but let's just go into the assumption that boons are reserved for post-level 20 mini-level ups. Now that we've added all of our pluses, let's go into our multiplications. What's nice about the wizard not having to concentrate on Longstrider is he can instead concentrate on Haste, which will double our movement speed and give us 1 extra action. In addition to that, we can put on a pair of Boots of Speed, which will allow us as a bonus action to double our movement speed, once again. Finally, our racial choice is going to be the Tabaxi, because the Tabaxi have the ability to double their movement speed during their turn. However, they cannot move during their next turn. So this is kind of a give and take, whether you want to run for a very long time, or if you're trying to make one single sprint. Regardless, the numbers I'm going to be giving in this video are strictly based on a single round of combat. Now that we've laid the groundwork with our math, we can now put all those numbers together and calculate exactly how fast we can move in a single round of combat. I wrote it down because this is a little more than just a couple numbers in your head. So, as a Tabaxi, we have a base movement speed of 30 feet. The Totem Barbarian allows us an extra 15 feet of movement. Being a Monk, we get another 25 movement. The Mobile feat will give us 10 feet. Longstrider, another 10 feet. The Transmuter Stone from our Wizard, another 10 feet. The Boon of Speed will give us 30 feet. We'll double this with our Boots of Speed. We'll double this with the Haste spell that we obtained. And finally, we will double it one more time with our Tabaxi's ability to sprint twice as fast in a single turn. Now into the reason why we needed 2 levels in Fighter with Action Surge. This will give us another action on our turn. So, we have our movement action. We have our regular action. We can use a key point to dash action as a Monk. Our haste action lets us have another dash. And finally, our fighter allows us to action surge with an additional dash. Putting all these numbers together with our base level, the Tabaxi can move 2,600 feet in a single turn of combat, using their feline agility to double that to 5,200, just short of a single mile. But we can go faster. 2,600 may seem like a lot. However, an Aarakocra has a base movement speed of 50. Throwing that into our calculations using the Aarakocra's fly speed, and given your DM would allow Longstrider to count for flying in addition to walking, the Aarakocra is capable of flying 3,000 feet in a single turn. But, ladies and gentlemen, for just one more wizard, we can increase this to an additional 10 more feet with the wizard casting the fly spell, which gives a character 60 feet of fly speed, increasing our odds to 3,200. We've already gotten very close to a mile without using the Tabaxi double speed. But there is one more spell that we can use instead of the fly spell, and if your DM, which I probably would, allows everything to come together, you can increase your movement speed to 300 feet with the Windwalk spell. The Windwalk spell turns you into a gaseous form, but if you activated your Boots of Speed before transforming, you're still technically under the effects of it for the amount of time you're using it. So, you're able to travel, with all of our calculations, 8,000 feet in a single round of combat. In a span of 6 seconds, you can almost move an entire 2 miles. And the best part about that is, you are literally made of wind, so even if your DM wanted to use physics like sonic booms, or slamming into something, or just, a bug piercing through your skull because of how fast you're going, they actually can't because you are currently made of cloud. Just watch out when you change back, or how soon you change back. And seeing as this is going to be a relatively quick video, quick, I figured it would also be fun to talk about how to slow your enemies down instead. Now, I know the obvious choice would be the slow spell, which has the movement speed of a creature, or chill touch, which lowers the movement speed by 10 feet. But an even better spell, which is an even lower level spell than the 3rd level spell slow, is the 2nd level Earthbind. If you are fighting a creature that is not particularly strong, has a low strength stat, they have to succeed on a strength saving throw, or have their movement speed drop to 0. What I have found to be more terrifying about this spell than, say, Hold Person, is there is no saving throws at the end of your turn. If you fail the initial saving throw, your movement speed is reduced to 0. And that's it. The spell lasts a minute. As long as the wizard who cast it on you is not, broken of his concentration, you are stuck in that spot, bound to the earth by yellowish chains of earthen energy. So, yeah, it takes a very complicated amount of mathematics to create a character that can break the sound barrier, but it only takes a 2nd level spell to change that all to 0. Thank you for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video. This is the Hero Julius, Xing out.